Hello and welcome back to the Four Quarter Talk podcast with myself, Jack Brazil, and my co-host, Josh Mazoke. Say what's up, Josh.
Yo.
We're
Let's
back
get this going.
with another episode. Our debut episode went out last week, and we appreciate all the support you guys showed us.
Great support.
Obviously, our numbers aren't massive or whatever, but the few of you that did reach out and give us feedback, we very much appreciate you. And we're going to keep the momentum rolling this week. We've got more things to talk about. Obviously, the NBA restart, some key performers, what we took away from this week. And we're going to end it, as always, with a little bit of trivia. But this time, I'll be asking Josh the questions. I've got something nice lined up for you, bro, with that. Don't you worry.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready. So,
just a disclaimer as well. I was getting a few messages saying, why didn't we talk about this and why didn't we talk about that? We record on Thursdays. So, our first episode was recorded last Thursday. So, that was obviously...
Yeah, we put it out a bit late.
Yeah, we did put it out a bit late, but, bear with us. But it was obviously before the weekend's games. So, we couldn't talk about any of those. But yeah, that's when we record. So just for future reference. All right.
Also, as we start to grow, we'll get a bit of social media so that we will have a place where people can give suggestions if you want us to talk about anything in particular. Yeah. So we'll keep on that. But for now, just put it in the comments if you have anything pressing.
Yeah, or just DM us because I'm sure the only people probably watching are our friends. So
yeah.
DM us. But Josh, do you want to take the people through this week's topics a little bit more? Tell them what we're going to talk about today.
Okay. Yeah. Firstly, before we even get into the topics, so we've had a couple major injuries.
Yeah.
And that's not great, obviously, especially all three. Yeah. And just now, Ben Simmons has been announced.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I did see that.
A knee. Yeah.
Partial dislocation.
That's not great. Yeah. But I've seen, they're saying day to day, I searched it up and there's things for like 4 to 6 weeks as well, those type of injuries. So, yeah, hopefully. And then also, as a Bulls fan, I don't know if you've seen this yet.
I don't know if you've seen this yet. Say, but,
yeah. I thought it might surprise him.
Yep, just
the Bulls keeping Jim Boylan. So, what do you think about that? What's your thoughts as a Bulls fan?
Where do I start, bro? They said... I did see the article and they said it's for something like financial reasons or some bullshit like that. Look, if the front office of the Bulls is serious about taking this team back to where it once was, Jim Boylan has got to go. I think everybody apart from the Bulls front office knows that. So it is frustrating to see.
I think they know that.
Yeah, maybe they do, but they just tight and don't like spending money. But It's scary because, it doesn't look like the players have any sort of connection with Jim Boylan. So that
like any player likes
that might result in the exile of some of our best players like Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, which would be really sad because that young core does have some promise. So obviously that's terrible news for me, but I'm sure you got a laugh out of it. And on the opposite end, your team has been doing great things, but we'll get more into that.
We'll get into that. As you said, it's just we'll just go through a couple of takeaways that we have from the week, and then we'll give our input on different categories we have for performances, and then obviously you have something lined up as well for me.
Okay, let's get straight into the takeaways. I'll go first. One takeaway I would like to highlight is the intensity of the bubble games so far. I think with the long layoff period between the season suspension and the restart, a lot of people suspected that a lot of players would come back really rusty and out of form. But a lot of players haven't really missed a beat, and a lot of new players are emerging. Off the top of my head, I think of people like Gary Trent, TJ Warren. Obviously, he was always a very good NBA player, but he's taken that even next step. Obviously, it's only 3 games, so we don't know how the rest of his bubble life is going to turn out. But so far, he's been the hot hand of the NBA. So it's even more intense, I'd say, than them NBA regular season in the normal conditions.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like an between regular season and playoffs, because there are quite a few teams fighting for their season.
And obviously, I think that's credit to do with every team in the bubble kind of has something to fight for. So that's probably why the intensity is so good. But I'm just so glad that the level is as high as it has been.
Yeah, it's been great, and we've needed it as well.
Yeah, we have.
This layoff. We've needed it.
Really have. What takeaways do you have, Josh, from the?
So yeah, my first one is about the two LA teams, and they kind of said to right from that first day, they seem to be struggling.
Yeah,
both teams. The Clippers, obviously, at least they have a bit of an excuse with players in and out of the lineup with Lou Will, and who they've just got back, and Harrell, who's returning soon, hopefully. But the Lakers, their offense is struggling a lot, which is weird because they've throughout the regular season they had one of the top offenses, and now they're struggling, particularly LeBron.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's averaging high teens, low 20s, which you haven't really seen from him throughout his whole career.
And not even just that, but his efficiency, which is normally quite high up, he's in the low 30s, the low 40s. So that's not great. And then Anthony Davis is kind of up and down with his aggression as well. Obviously, they've just clinched that first seed, so the games don't matter as such. But getting that rhythm going into the playoffs,
exactly, that's key, isn't it? The rhythm.
Yeah, and they can face a hot team as well.
Also, like it kind of. It's the polar opposite of what we kind of saw in the scrimmage games, really. I mean, everything for the Lakers looked like it was clicking, and it looked like they were gonna go on to carry that into the bubble and dominate all these teams. But if you look at the loss to the Raptors, to be fair, I think that's more down to the Raptors' great defense. I mean, there was in the fourth quarter they just locked up, but they narrowly beat the Clippers.
Without two of their best players as well.
Yeah, and got past the Jazz, but the big surprise, which I know you were very happy about, was that blowout loss to the Thunder. Take us through that one, Josh.
Yeah, I watched that game start to finish, and it was pretty glaring that the Lakers seemed kind of disinterested. Don't get me wrong, like I don't like hearing about they didn't care because they clinched, because they had all their starters out, but they've just been up and down, and it was at its worst against the Thunder, but they've been showing it throughout each and every game so far since they've been back, that they've been kind of inconsistent. You have Anthony Davis, who in the last game against Utah shot 14 shots in the first quarter, and then last night, like
he shot 11.
Well, he gave 8 points. There's no aggression there, and they just seem to, because we're a good team, Thunder are a good team, but that should not be that. Throughout the regular season, that was a bad matchup for us because we're not that big of a team. Yeah. Obviously, we got dominated by the Denver behind Jokic. So that should not be a game that the Lakers should be losing realistically. So
you think Anthony Davis would be looking at a team like the Thunder and licking his lips, but he was really passive yesterday and didn't take many shots at all. And the shots he did take, almost misses.
And then to add to that, they've got their matchup today against the Rockets, which I was going to see how they perform against a dangerous team in the Rockets. But the problem is, so they've got LeBron sitting out now with a groin injury, which I suspect to be load management, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then also Westbrook. So that's another opportunity missed where they could have started to build up that rhythm that they've been lacking going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it is a bit worrying. LeBron James, he seems to be getting injured more and more as he gets older, which you never thought would happen, really. If there was one person who could stay injury clear, you thought it was LeBron. But last year, he obviously had that bad injury. And this year, maybe this is just low management. They're trying to keep him fresh going into the playoffs. But it is a little bit worrying if it is actually a groin issue. Go on.
Yeah, the problem is that not just this year, but with every team that LeBron's on, they rely a lot on his production.
Yeah,
he's a center of the offense. So every game that he's out, although it gives other players opportunity, it doesn't really give them the reps that they need with him.
Yeah,
because he creates a lot of offense for them, and they've just been missing their shots. But they need him to get to the point where they're hitting on all cylinders again as they were throughout the season.
And looking at the Lakers' upcoming games, as you said, they have the Rockets, which will be a good test for them, especially without LeBron. But you also got TJ Warren's Pacers, who that
TJ Warren's.
That's what it looks like right now.
Warren.
He could, if he keeps his streak going, that could be a really sticky game for them. And then they've got the Nuggets, who have looked good in the bubble. Jokic kind of looking like his old self again. And then they finish up against the Kings. So these 4 games are going to be really important for the Lakers to build momentum going into those playoffs. And seeing as the Grizzlies have struggled massively. I mean, the Grizzlies have been in games late, but they haven't won a game yet. So I guess you could class that as struggling massively. And, teams like the Pacers and even the Suns gunning for that 8th seed, their first round matchup could be a little bit harder than they anticipated going into the bubble. So they do have to get that momentum up. And let's talk briefly about the Clippers as well. Because you did say the Clippers. Obviously had that opening day loss to the Lakers. They did come back in that game. It was a blowout early on, but they managed to bring it back, but ultimately still lost by 2. Beat a young Pelicans team and surprisingly dropped one to the Suns.
They dominated that Pelican. I watched the start of that game. They were leading by 40 at one point.
Yeah.
And it was just domination. It shows throughout the season they've shown at particular games that they can flip that switch and just dominate a team, but it's just not consistent.
Yeah, I was going to say they need to do it more consistently in the playoffs if they want any type of success. Yeah. But that Pelicans game really showed how lethal the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combination can be. We haven't seen it all season. Like we haven't seen it consistently, like you said. Either one of them goes off and the other goes missing, or it hasn't happened too much. Or they're both hurt, or low management, whatever. But that game, they both put up good numbers and just torched that young Pelican squad. But that game against the Suns was really surprising, I think, to everyone. You see that on the schedule, you think easy Clipper win. But a lot of players just didn't really turn up in that game. They obviously had Lou Will back. He put us up good numbers off the bench, but he didn't have the scoring output you would have wanted out of a Lou Williams. And Paul George went missing in the 4th quarter. I was seeing bricks and air balls all over the shop. Kawhi looked good. To be fair, he was dominating on both ends of the ball, but ultimately Devin Booker called game. Really,
Devin Booker called game.
That shot was wild. I watched.
That was Kobe-esque, brother.
I watched the last 5 minutes of that game because I saw it was close, and I thought I'd just switch on. And when D-Book gets the ball, I just knew something special was going to happen. And he pump fakes, Kawhi Leonard bites on it, turnaround jumper over Paul George. And then I was watching the Clippers commentary, and they kind of killed the moment for me because they didn't react at all. They just like
game. The saltiness of like opposing commentators in those moments. Yeah.
But
no, you could just see because it was a home game for them as well, and they had the home virtual fans, and you could just see as soon as Devin Booker touched the ball on the faces of those fans, like you could sense it.
But let's talk about the Suns. Obviously they're 3-0 now in the bubble, wins wise. So all wins, no losses. And for me, what I've seen from the Suns is that connection between Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton looks like it's really starting to mature, and they look like they have a better understanding of each other. Their pick and roll game is very deadly. I saw that against the Clippers, dragging players out of position on the pick and roll, and Zubac couldn't handle him at times. So that pick and roll is going to be vital for the Suns' success if they are to be successful in the years to come. So hopefully that they can keep that momentum going.
Yeah, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing from Ayton. He's really stepping up. It was a case he was dealing with a lot of pressure, obviously being a number 1 pick, and especially going off having Luka go 2 spots after him. So it was one of those situations where he felt like he had to prove himself that he was better than Luka. But I feel although you would have loved to have Luka, just the fit of them two and how he's performing now, it doesn't seem like too much of a mistake. It seems like the only real blown opportunity there was with the Kings taking Marvin Bagley. That's going to be
you'd
the
have
question.
to say if DeAndre Ayton continues on this trajectory, then no one's really going to talk about the Suns missing out on Luka Doncic, although he is a generational type talent. But DeAndre Ayton has high all-star potential, so it won't.
Yeah, it would be comparable to the Michael Jordan draft
with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem going first. Like, you can't knock them for that. They won out of it. And
Hall of Fame. They still got a Hall of Famer. They still got a few championships. So everyone won really that day. Apart from the who took Sam Bowie second? The Trailblazers.
Yeah, the Trailblazers have a lot of trouble in the draft.
Yeah. Okay, that leads me nicely into my final takeaway from the bubble: the Portland Trailblazers. I hinted on last week's podcast that I did think the Trailblazers could make a run towards that eighth seed, and they've looked good in the bubble. They narrowly lost to the Celtics after being down by 20 early on. They fought back. I loved the grit and the fight I saw from them. Dame and CJ caught fire in the second half, but ultimately it wasn't enough for them. They actually beat the team currently occupying the eighth seed, the Grizzlies, in their first game, which is massive for them. That's a massive boost.
That's a big game.
The team above them drops and they gain the game. And then they took down the Rockets last night. And for me, the most impressive thing about the Trailblazers, it's not Dame, it's not CJ, it's the way other role players have stepped up. Like Gary Trent Jr. has emerged as a guy who can hit his threes consistently. He's a young player, so another guy's hit shots alongside Dame and CJ is great for the Trailblazers, alongside Carmelo Anthony, who seems to always hit his shots when they're needed. And also Nurkic has looked good since he's been back.
He hasn't missed a beat coming back from such a gruesome injury.
Yeah, he's
clean break.
He's giving them a boost on both sides of the floor, really. So
he's everywhere. He really he stuffs the stat sheet.
Yeah,
in every category.
But having said that, looking at the Trailblazers coming games, they do look very hard. They've got the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Sixers, the Mavericks, and then the Nets on the final day. So
that, because I had a point. I won't go too deep into it, but it was really just about that point of the 8th seed battle and how, and that I had this planned out before Triple J went down, before Jaren Jackson went down, and at first I thought it was the case of teams having to fight to get into that play-in tournament. But with the way the grids are falling, it seems like a team like the Blazers would be able to seize that 8th seed.
Yeah.
So the Pelicans seem a bit unreliable in terms of how they're playing. Zion.
They haven't been great.
Getting into on the fly, and they're losing tough games.
Yeah.
And the Blazers are just the Blazers are just hitting, like, as a team. They seem like a complete team. They don't seem like a team that should be fighting in. They seem like a team that if they had this roster for the whole season, that they'd be in, like, pretty secure in the mix. So, and they look like the most dangerous team in terms of a matchup with a Lakers team that's falling, and a Lakers team that doesn't seem with it right now.
Because you got to think who's guarding Dame, really? Who's guarding CJ?
Yeah, they've lost their perimeter defense in Avery Bradley.
And you got to remember, this is not the same team, but it's a similar team to the team that got to the Western Conference Finals last year. So they definitely shouldn't be in this scenario. Obviously, they've been unfortunate with their injuries, but I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck into that 8th spot, especially the way the Grizzlies and the Pelicans are playing. But maybe the Suns will make a run for that spot. Who knows? But I think the Suns are more.
It's gonna be an uphill battle for the Suns.
I think they're more aiming for the playing tournament, really.
It's uphill battle for them.
And we'll see if they can keep the momentum going. Do you have any more takeaways?
Yeah, I've got one more. So with the Rockets small ball, I've watched quite a few of their games since they've returned.
They had that blockbuster game against the Mavericks.
Yeah, they have a really strange formula. Growing up watching and playing basketball, the games are won in the rebound battle, like extra possessions and all of that. But they've just fully gone straight into their new formula, and they've just said they don't care about rebounds. They're all about threes. They said the threes will cancel out the rebounds. They've been out rebounded by ridiculous margins, like 30. Out rebounded by 30, giving up 60 rebounds and things like that. And they've been in every game. The only problem that they've had is that they get into a lot of foul trouble trying to guard those bigger players, because they're a great perimeter defensive team, and they're a tough team. But the fact is they cannot guard those bigger players. It showed against Nurkic and Whiteside against the Blazers, because they had Harden with 5 fouls sitting watching from the bench, seeing their lead go. And they're trying to, the formula that they've got, I'm not sure how sustainable it is, because they're relying on threes and their late game defense and closing ability, which is it's all right, but not being able to blow out teams is that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, they've always been a team, the Rockets. They'll either blow you out or they'll lose by 10 or 15. So not having that big presence on the boards will certainly hurt them, I think, in the long run. Obviously, it's different playing small ball in the regular season when people may take a couple of possessions off, and playing small ball in the playoffs where it's heads on at all times.
Because these teams are reluctant to just keep like forcing it inside. I don't know why, but once they get to the playoffs, they're not going to give them that.
Exactly.
They're not going to give them that room. They're just going to keep attacking it and keep attacking that mismatch.
And building on what you said about them getting out rebounded, the Bucks out rebounded them by 30 the other night, and they still somehow managed to get the win. I'm not really sure how they do it, honestly.
It's the volume of their 3-point shooting, even more so than the makes, because they're a team that they will make they will win threes almost every game, just because they take so many. I believe in that game, either in that or the game against the Mavs, they attempted 63s. So they're going to be in that 45. They're going to be in that 45 to 60 range, and at that volume, like, teams just can't keep up with them with that. So that's how they allow that rebounding advantage. Okay, so those are all our takeaways from week 1 of the NBA bubble, and we're going to move swiftly into our next topic. In this section, we're gonna highlight some individuals. We're going to talk about our outstanding performer, our most surprising performer, our most underrated performer, and our worst performer that we've seen so far from this first week. So, Josh, give me your outstanding performer from the first week of the NBA bubble. Yeah, my outstanding performer has to go to TJ Warren. Yeah, he's absolutely on fire right now. Yeah. He's leading in scoring at just under 40 points per game. Jesus. Shooting 60 and a half, like 65% from the field. Yeah. And 60% from 3. Like he's absolutely killing it, and like that confidence is building for him. You got to remember, this is the same player who 3 seasons ago couldn't hit a 3 to save his life, and now he's shooting 60% from 3 in the bubble. It's crazy what a few off seasons can do for you. He's 53 against the Sixers, 34 against the Wizards, and 32 against the Magic. He's just totally on fire. Yeah, he just looks like a completely different player, really. Going into a timeout, that it's like a clip that's just hard to stop, because you can't really double team it, because it's just his shooting. Yeah. They were going into a timeout, and a player literally told Brett Brown that, like, he just won't miss. Yeah. Like, what do we do here?
Yeah, I saw a clip where they had Ben Simmons on him, who is obviously one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he literally just caught the ball, stroked it in his mouth, and Ben Simmons just like, that sounded so wrong. Stroked it in his mouth. Jesus Christ.
Pause, bro.
Wow. Stroked it in his mouth,
Nah, let's keep it.
I mean, you know what I mean, bro? He took the shot when he was close to him and just swished it, and Ben Simmons just looked like, what's going on here? Like, this is TJ Warren, like, but this is like cash considerations. TJ Warren, the Suns must be punching the air right now.
Yeah, that was a strange trade. Yeah. Obviously, I've seen a lot of Suns fans try to justify it by saying that I helped them to sign Rubio, which, to be fair, has created that's taken some pressure off of Devin Booker in playmaking duties and allowed him to really go into just pure scoring. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's maybe they wouldn't have fit together, but yeah, it's a tough loss for what they gave up.
Yeah, really. Our apologies. We had some technical difficulties, but we are back now. I just want to clarify, TJ Warren has not been stroking anything in anyone's mouths. That was just poor phrasing by myself. Let me move swiftly onto my best performer. And it's not a player, actually. I want to give this to a team, and that for me is the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are currently 3-0 in the bubble and have beat some really good teams. They beat the Raptors. I'm sorry, they haven't beat the Raptors. They are the Raptors. They beat the Lakers by about 15, which, that's a very impressive win for them. Beat the Heat, and they beat the Magic, who have looked good in the bubble, the Magic. So those are all three quality wins. And for me, what's been the most impressive part is something that they've actually done all season. And it's that you don't know who's going to be the main man any given night. Could be Kyle Lowry, could be Fred VanVleet, it could even be Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol. They all contribute even amounts. Sometimes someone will take the protagonist role, but when you look at the box score, it's all 5 or 6 players getting 15 points, and they've really shown that they are bigger than just Kawhi Leonard. It wasn't just Kawhi Leonard's team. It was, in fact, that every part of that team was integral to that championship run. Have you been impressed by the Raptors, Josh?
Yeah. They've been great all season. That's why we've had Nick Nurse as our coach of the year, as we said last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've just continued to stay resilient. People thought they'd fall like off the face of the earth, but they are champions and they are defending champions, but you can't take that away from them. They have that championship mentality and that DNA, and they've just put their head down and they've just been winning and winning, and they're not as historic of a season as the Bucks were having. They're right there with them, and that's why the Bucks haven't even clinched home. They haven't clinched the first seed yet because of how productive the Raptors have been. But the downside to that, though, is one thing that you did credit them for was their balanced attack and how there's someone stepping up every game. But that's something that's been part of them for a couple years, predating Kawhi.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they don't seem to know who to go, who that go-to guy is that stands out, and that's why you need a Kawhi Leonard. That's why you need a top 5 player that will take over for you, and that's the thing. That whilst I think they're a great team, they're a great run team, great mentality, great organization. I think that's going to be their downfall once they get into the playoffs. Is that they in those close games, who's going to step up for them and like separate themselves, and that's the thing. You see teams like the Celtics who had those issues starting the season, and now Tatum has emerged. They need that player to emerge for them.
Do you think anyone has that potential to be the emerging front runner of their offense, or do you think it will continue in the same vein where they'll just have one guy stepping up on one night?
My concern isn't the overall night of who steps up, who has a big game. It's really those moments, those closing moments, and I feel like you need that wing or that guard to do that.
You need to know who's going to take your final shot.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam's like really, he's quickly growing, but I'm not sure if he's there yet.
He's not at that level. Yeah, I agree. He's not at that level
No.
where he's the guy you'll look to win you this game. I don't think he's quite there.
And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be your best player, because I don't really see, whilst Giannis is a great player, I feel like it kind of needs to be that perimeter type player. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you need a three, Giannis isn't going to get you that, but Chris Middleton might. So, but honestly, it's the way they were written off at the start of the year.
Yeah,
the way
it's been impressive still, no doubt. You can't take that away from them.
But then what you did say is also very true. The Raptors were known as a regular season team before Kawhi Leonard came in, and it looks
they were getting first seeds.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And then they were just getting swept by LeBron in the conference finals. But obviously, LeBron isn't in the East anymore, so you never know. But there is a small Greek guy called Giannis Antetokounmpo there, so he could be a little bit of a problem for them. All right, let's move into your most surprising performer. Who's your most surprising performer?
Similar to you for the last category, I went with a team, and I went with the Suns.
Yep.
The Suns coming into the bubble, they were one of those teams where everyone was scratching their heads, thinking like, "Why are they coming?"
Yeah.
Similar to the
Wizards and the Nets, really.
Yeah. But they've stood out. They've been fighting.
Not the Nets, sorry. They're in the playoffs.
Not the Nets.
Yeah, but the Nets are in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Nets are in the playoffs, but yeah. But they've just been fighting, and they've really grown, because that hiatus that happened, people forget that although it was in the middle of a season, it was the length of, or even longer than an off season. So it's given young players a chance to really grow and develop their games. And now that's manifesting. And Devin Booker he's always been confident, but right now he's playing with a different level of confidence, and it's spreading to his other teammates. Yeah,
Devin Booker, he's looking like a young Kobe, really. And I'm glad he's got that motivation to kind of carry on his legacy vicariously through himself. Maybe that's the reason he's doing so well. But he's been No, go on.
Yeah, another thing is that this has been his first real opportunity to play meaningful games, even though it's not the playoffs. He has this stage right now where he's getting to perform at a high level.
Yeah, where everyone's watching him, and his team actually
he's really
has
fighting
something to play for. So hopefully this is a massive indication of the Devin Booker that's to come as the Suns get more successful. As the Suns start getting used to these more meaningful games and hopefully getting into the playoffs. Because I'm not sure about you, but I would love to see Devin Booker in a playoff environment.
We need to see that.
Yeah.
We need to see that.
Hitting game winners, hitting big shots. I just need to see that. Apologies, people. We've had yet another technical difficulty. My computer literally just decided to crap itself and shut off in the middle of our recording. But thankfully, we haven't lost any footage. So we're just going to keep on trucking on, keep going. What I was going to say before I was really interrupted by my computer is this may be the first time in Devin Booker's career and the Suns' history with Devin Booker that his points and his production is actually turned into meaningful wins for them. So that shows maturity, not only in Devin Booker's game, but the Suns have found a way that they can turn his points into actual wins. So the signs are good for the Suns right now.
Mm-hmm. He's proven wrong all the haters that said that it was empty stats and that he can really lead a team. Yeah,
that's why I hate that term empty stats, because I feel like eventually if you build around the person who's putting up these so-called empty stats, they can become very meaningful. So they're never
not everyone can be drafted into a situation like Zion or Luka where they're given a team or a competent front office that can give them a winning team right away.
And I think someone like Trae Young will have a very similar trajectory to someone like a Devin Booker.
For sure.
Been put on two young teams that are just a few pieces away from maybe getting into the playoffs. So we'll see how Trae Young's career develops, but I'm sure he'll be very successful. All right, going into my most surprising player since the restart, and I'm going to actually say this for a bad reason, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this. I know, especially my boy Mike. He's not going to like this, but LeBron
needs to hear it.
James, since the restart, he hasn't been terrible, because LeBron will never be terrible. Let's be honest, he will never be a bum.
Oh, he might have been terrible, bro.
You think?
I might piss off your friend.
Let's just look at LeBron, because he hasn't been the LeBron we've known and loved for 15 years of his career since the restart. As I said earlier, he's putting up high teens, low 20 points per game on very inefficient shooting, which is something we haven't seen out of LeBron before. Assist numbers are down as well. Can't hit his threes really against the Thunder. He went 0 for 5 from 3. So yeah, it's just an iteration of LeBron we haven't ever seen before. And do you think this is worrying, Josh, or do you think this is just a little bump in the road?
Do I think this is worrying? No, not really. Not for him directly, at least. I feel LeBron has shown us he's, as long as I've been watching basketball, and even longer than that, as long as pretty much we've been born, LeBron has shown that he can personally flip that switch, and I've got full confidence that by the time the games matter again for him, he'll be back to dominating. But the problem is, it's not just about him. He doesn't just affect him. To his strength, he affects the whole team, and that can be a positive or a negative. So, the way he's playing right now isn't really boding well for how his team are going to be able to adjust going into it. And that's a team that we thought was one of the more secure teams in terms of their chemistry and in terms of their production going into the playoffs.
Yeah, he definitely. If the Lakers are going to have any chance at this NBA title, he's definitely going to have to wake up, and sooner rather than later, because as we said, going into the playoffs, they do need to get that ball rolling, because it will help them massively gain a bit of momentum. So obviously, we do think LeBron will get back to his best, but right now for me, he's been surprising in a negative sense, because he just hasn't been the LeBron James we all know and love. Sorry, Mike.
42% from the field.
You had to.
42% from the field from LeBron is just that's shocking.
Yeah,
that's shocking.
What would you put that down to though? Has he been driving less? Has he been taking more jump shots? What would you put that down to?
I don't put that one on him. I put that on his supporting cast and how the lack of shooting and watching the games. It's something I think is they're not a great team. They're not a great shooting team this season anyway. They're probably like bottom 3 in 3-point percentage.
Yeah,
but they're not this bad. I mean, right now as a team, they're shooting 15% from 3. No, I think it's like 25% from 3 in that range. And he's a player that obviously he's high efficiency in his ability to get to the rim, but with opposing defense having to respect his 2-point shooters, a lot of those drives are getting a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's his downfall right now.
Okay, so now we're going to move into our most underrated performer of the NBA bubble so far. Josh, do you have an answer for this one?
Yeah, my underrated performer so far is Gary Trent Jr. We alluded to him earlier on.
Yeah.
He's just balling right now. He's adding another component to the Blazers, and the Blazers are a team who a lot of their players are just coming alive right now and making them an increasingly scarier team going into the playoffs, because they're looking at that team that's going to take full advantage of the Grizzlies' struggles and really challenge for that 8th seed and maybe even take a game or two off the Lakers, because they are just that dangerous in that backcourt. But specifically with Trent, he's been a reliable scoring option. He's shooting 80% from 3 in these first few seeding games. So he's on fire right now. He's feeling confident, and the more confident that these players can get off these games, I mean, it's all about confidence. It's all about how you roll into the playoffs, and it is dangerous if you give a team like the Blazers, if you as the Lakers give a team like a Blazers the confidence that you're beatable and that they're rolling and they can really do something, then that's dangerous for a team that not only has young players that are getting more confident, but also has those more experienced players who have been there, like Dame and CJ and Melo.
I just want to quickly package in. This isn't my most surprising player, but I do quickly want to package in with Gary Trent, Carmelo Anthony as well. I think he hasn't shot the ball too efficiently, but he's hitting his shots at the right times.
I had him in there. At first I had them joint, but then I thought it's almost disrespectful to say that it's surprising from Melo, because this is something that we should be accustomed to expecting from him. And obviously, he had a couple down years.
I think you can quite comfortably say it's surprising because he was completely written off by a lot of NBA fans.
Yeah.
So I think you can definitely say it's surprising. Maybe not for us, but for a lot of people.
He's found his fit.
Yeah,
he's found his fit in his new role,
and he's accepted his role as well, which a lot of people didn't think he was going to do.
Yeah, it's almost disappointing as a Thunder fan because it feels like if he was able to accept it at an earlier time, then he might still be on the Thunder, because he's always had the Melo was never not in the league because of his talent, and whilst I don't agree with him not being in the league, it was always about his at least perception of his ability to accept a role. And with this team, he's just fit for right from the start.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move into my surprising player. I'm not even sure if this is too surprising, but it's a player who's coming off the back of a big injury.
Oh, underrated.
Oh, sorry, it's underrated, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it maybe does make a bit more sense. I'm going to say the 7'3" Latvian center playing for the Dallas Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis. His numbers are definitely not underrated, but I don't see too much buzz about him.
So Luka.
And since the NBA restart, he has been on flames. 39 points, 16 rebounds against the Houston Rockets, 30 points against the Phoenix Suns, and 22 points against the Kings. I mean, he really is looking like New York Porzingis again. And I think a lot of that is to do with the developed understanding between Luka and Porzingis. I mean, we all knew that the key to the Mavericks' success going forward was that those two built a tight bond and a tight understanding, and it's looking better and better by the game, and they are becoming a real threatening duo.
I definitely agree. To start the season, there were definitely growing pains. Their best lineups didn't even include both of them together. Their first and best second best lineups had them with different units, and it seemed that them two on the floor together wasn't optimal. But they're definitely getting to the point at the right time where they're starting to succeed together, and that's scary for their likely matchup in the Clippers.
Yeah, and they look two completely different teams when both of those players are on and off the floor. I mean, it's almost like when I watch the Mavericks, it's must watch television when they're on the floor, but when they're off,
their offense is amazing.
I might as well switch this off. It's so it is night and day. Those players, I think they may be one or two pieces away from they may be 1 or 2 pieces away from really contending for the NBA title, honestly.
I'm looking forward to their matchup today with the Clippers. That should be really telling.
I can't wait to watch that. It should be that should be an amazing game. And I did tell you last week, you didn't agree with me, but I did tell you that he was going to torch the Rockets because of his height and his skill set, and he hit them for 39 and 16. So
no. You're right there. It's just I was going really off his tendencies. I know he had the ability to do it, but he seemed a lot more passive and more perimeter based. But he went right into it, and
unfortunately they couldn't grab the W in that game. But they that was an amazing game to watch. That it was just back and forth. That's basketball at its best for me. But yeah, Kristaps, I don't know why he's not getting talked about more, but he's honestly been one of the best players since the restart. So that is my 100%. Underrated performer. And we're going to move quickly on to kind of the opposite of that, the most overrated / worst performer. Do you want to kick us off, Josh?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. This performance or string of performances has been, for me, the only low point of this return so far, and the only thing that's really been a buzzkill for this restart, and it's the performance from the referees.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Expand.
And this of course, this isn't just from me watching a game of OKC and being like, oh, like a few fouls. But yeah, no. Consistently, I've seen is that they're kind of leaning into this whole no fans situation here, and there's just a lot of these games are just highly extended, a lot of fouls called consistently. I've seen, because I've watched quite a lot of games since the return, and they're just quick to blow that whistle. And I get you can attribute that to the lack of noise now and being able to hear each and every slap, each and every grunt, and obviously they seem a lot more what's the word? Like the fouls are a lot more apparent now. You can hear it a lot more. Yeah. But I still feel like as a seasoned as veteran referees, which at this point, if you're in the bubble, you're the best of the best. So
yeah,
I expect them to fix this, and I expect them to fix this by the playoffs, because I'm not trying to see every single team star players in foul trouble every game. And we don't watch this game for the refs.
Yeah, we don't, and they have been making a lot of unnecessary headlines. But hopefully this is, you do have to understand, as much as this is a learning curve for the NBA players, this is also a learning curve.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they've got to be a bit rusty too. So yeah, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
They can't persist.
I'm going to move into my most disappointing performer, and for me, it's Danny Green.
Danny Green.
Danny Green has been booty hole, basically, to put it quite frankly, since the restart.
Straight cheeks.
Yeah, and I've been seeing Lakers fans all over Twitter calling for this guy's head. I mean,
KCP treatment right here.
Let me just give you some of his shooting stats since the restart. We'll start with the best. Actually, maybe not the best, but against the Thunder, he shot 3 for 8, 2 for 7 from 3. 9 points in total in 23 minutes. Utah Jazz, 4 for 7, that's not terrible. But the first game showed his real rust. Sorry, not the first game. Was that? Yeah, it was the first game. Sorry, my bad. 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from the 3-point line against the Raptors, and at shooting like that, he is costing the Lakers some games here. Honestly.
Yeah. That's what I was saying with LeBron and his struggling, is that LeBron is the type of player where he'll put that ball right there on a silver platter for you. You just have to execute, and he's had these problems in the past with different teammates not being able to finish that. It's inexcusable. He's getting a lot of open looks.
Yeah,
but to me, what I've seen from watching games and from Lakers fans who've gone absolutely crazy. I've seen them saying he's a fraud.
Yeah.
Looking at stats all the way back to 2014.
Yeah.
Talking about his finals. Talking about him going to the club with LeBron after. Yeah, it's just a whole mess. But
and it's his defense.
Player. Yeah, his defense is what I'm. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's another player who, he's rich with championship and playoff experience, so they are gonna need him firing on all cylinders. Going into the playoffs.
I'm like LeBron. I do feel like he'll come when the time matters and when the time is right. He will come back to life. But my problem with him is his defense. I feel like that's being exposed a bit. He's known as a 3-and-D player, but he's not really defending his matchups too well, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah,
he might mess around and give up his. He's given opportunity for these other wings and shooters to come in and take his spot.
Yeah, because they have a lot of shooting guards on this roster. So Danny Green really has to watch his back and pick it up really quickly, because Dion Waiters has been quite good as well. And
he's got players he trusts as well. LeBron with players he trusts in KCP and J.R. Smith.
And Danny Green usually has been in his career a player you can trust hit the open three, but right now he just stinks really. He definitely needs to pick it up and fast. I mean, 0 for 7 against the Raptors. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think that was something psychological against his own team, or not?
He struggled a lot. He struggled. He struggled in both games against the Raptors actually. Yeah. So
So maybe
I've seen them saying, "Oh, he sent us a spy to the Lakers." Like they've said a lot, but yeah, you do have to take everything so far with like a pinch of salt, really, a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, like this is a preseason to them, really.
But I do think the bar has been set high by the other NBA players, because as we said at the very start,
some of them
a lot of people have come back in the best form of their whole career. So, maybe before a ball was touched, you could have said, okay, we do have to give the players a minute of the doubt. But now that narrative has changed, and we have to say that they're doing better. Why can you not be playing at your full potential? So
yeah, I do see that, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of these trends won't persist. I'm sorry, I don't think TJ Warren's going to be the second coming of Jordan too much longer. And I mean, there's a lot of the time. I mean, this is a restart, but there are always, to start seasons, there are these trends and there are these little things going on, like how the Suns at the start of the regular season, they looked like a team that was up and coming, and so there are things that don't really persist. But I mean, we can only talk about what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been great.
All right, cool. So that's our outstanding performers from the restart so far. Let us know what you think about those. If you think we're completely off the mark or we got it right, and we're going to swiftly move into our final topic for today, which is me testing Josh with, I have to say, some pretty hard trivia. Okay, so now we're into the trivia round, and Josh gave me the challenge last week, if you don't remember, of naming the last 20 NBA MVPs. And to be fair to me, I went into it with no confidence whatsoever, but I think I performed very well. 15 and a half points.
You did decent. So I'm a bit scared right now.
So today I thought I'd challenge you, Josh, because I say your ball knowledge is better than mine personally. I'm being humble here, but I do think that's the right call. I think you've been watching longer for me. You played the game, so I think you have a better understanding. So I thought I'd challenge you here, and it's in a similar vein to what you gave me last week. I want you to name the last 20 somethings, and that something is the last 20 scoring champions of the NBA.
Ooh, scoring champions.
Yeah. Going all the way back to 2000.
Oh, that's tough. Okay. This is a mad one. Yeah. This is a mad one, because at a certain point I'm just gonna completely fall off. But okay, let me go before I. All right.
Right, cool. Okay. I'll count you down. Yeah, I'll count you down. Right, so
count me down.
2, 1, 2018, 2019. Who was the scoring champion?
That would be James Harden.
Okay. 2017, 18?
2017, 18. James Harden again? I'll go with that.
I'm not going to say if you got it right or wrong, but 2016, 17. And remember, you can ask for hints. And do you know what I'm going to do for you? Because I'm so nice.
Yeah, this one's tough.
When you ask for hints, I won't give you half points. If you get it right, I'll give you the full point.
Okay, all right. But so don't make it too revealing then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, 2016, 17. Wait, 2016, 17.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Okay. 2015, 16.
Steph Curry.
2014, 15.
2014, 15. Russell Westbrook again.
Okay. 2013, 14.
Kevin Durant.
Okay. 2012, 13.
Okay. All right.
Soft.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Carmelo Anthony.
Okay. 2011, 2012.
I didn't like that. Okay. I didn't like that. Because I know KD's won 4, and then Melo won a couple in that mix as well. but like 2012. I'm gonna go with KD.
Okay.
Again.
2010, 2011.
See, these I'm literally just mixing and matching with Melo and KD here now. Can I have a hint?
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's one of the players you've said. You said not to make it to the reader.
But I just said I'm going. I've just said that I'm going between KD and Melo, and then you said, "All right, okay." Wait, what did I say the last two?
You said Carmelo for 2012-13, and you said Kevin Durant for 2011-2012.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let me go KD for the last two.
Okay.
For the next two.
For the next two, so up to 2009, 2010, you're saying KD, yeah?
Yeah, and have I said KD 4 times yet?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah,
okay.
All right, cool. Yeah.
2008, 2009?
this is where this is gonna start being straight guesses because I was even watching at this point. Okay.
Remember hints.
2008, 2009.
Do not cost you anything, bro.
I know. I wanna go straight into it. 2008, 2009. Okay, yeah, hint.
Okay. What hint do I say to not make it revealing?
It's gonna annoy me.
This was this player's only scoring title.
I didn't need a hint for this. Well, maybe I could be wrong here, but LeBron?
2008, 2009, you're saying LeBron, yeah?
Wait. Let me go LeBron.
Okay. 2007, 2008?
2007, 2008. These are just guesses, though. I'm gonna probably need hints for all of these now. All right, let's go hint. Give me a hint.
I'm gonna have to be creative with my hints
because these are just gonna be guesses. I was not watching.
Okay, this was also this player's only scoring title, but it's a different player to the last one. Wait, what year? Sorry. 2007, 2008.
We go like Dirk. Even though that's gotta be wrong, but let's go.
Dirk. 06, 07?
Yeah, give me a hint for this one. Just go ahead and give me a hint for the rest of these.
Okay. Let me think of a creative hint. Because I can't just. Seeing as I'm not penalizing you for the points.
I mean, you're saying this is not common knowledge, man. I was not watching. What's this? 2007, 2008. I was like 6, 7.
Or do I give you a really dickhead hint? Right? Yeah, I'm going to actually.
Make it fun.
This player also won the All-Star Game MVP in this season.
What year?
2006, 2007.
If I'm not mistaken, just answer this question. Was he co All-Star MVP?
Oh, I already gave you a hint, bro.
I mean, that wouldn't really. If co, then it would be.
I already gave you a hint,
anyway,
bro.
So.
I already gave you a hint.
Okay, all right. 2006, 2007. Actually, no, it wouldn't be him anyway. Actually, Kevin Garnett.
2006, 2007, yeah?
I want to say Kevin Garnett, Kobe, but...
Who you got, bro?
All right, we'll go Garnett. That could be way off.
Garnett,
I think he just won MVP. No, I think he just won MVP. All right, fuck it. Why not? All right,
okay.
Garnett.
2005, 2006?
2005, 2006. Yeah, give me a hint for that.
Give who? Oh, a hint. Sorry. One sec, bro. Okay. 2005, 2006. I'm gonna give you a nice hint here. Top 5 scorer in NBA history won it this year.
2005, 2006, top 5 scorer. Kobe.
Okay. Cool. 2004, 2005.
Yeah, bro, you keep going. Keep reloading these hints. These hints.
I'm gonna say headband.
What year?
2004, 2005.
Headband. 2004, 2005. Headband scorer. Thinking of a couple. I think it's too early, too soon for Melo. I'm gonna go Allen Iverson.
Okay. Allen Iverson for 2004, 2005. Sorry.
This isn't looking good. This is not looking good.
Okay, 2003, 2004. Oh, and my hint is cousins with another NBA legend.
That's T-Mac.
Okay. That hint just gave everything away.
Yeah.
2002, 2003. My hint is he's this team's only ever scoring champion in NBA history.
2003-04.
No, 2002, 2003. I had to give you a tough hint because the last one was so easy.
Yeah. Damn, I'm. This can take me a second, bro. Because this is fully like if I asked you, bro. Because I know nothing about 2003, bro. I was 2 years old. Didn't know anything about basketball. All right, okay. Only teams ever won.
Just throw a name. Who's good at that time, bro?
Damn, I'm really struggling with this one. Because I've already said. Damn, this one's eating me up. Pause if I... Nah. Might actually have to pass on this one, man.
Pass, yeah?
No, I'll probably come back and I'll just guess something, but...
Okay, 2001, 2002. And my hint is this guy's a 4-time scoring champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kobe.
Kobe?
Because I feel like I ain't said it enough.
Cool, Kobe. 2000, 2001. You're nearly done, bro. And this guy, you've already said for another year.
Oh, AI.
Okay. And 1999, 2000. What do I say for this guy? Hold on. Got to do some research real quick.
I just want to hit on this last one at least because I know I've missed a few.
Okay. This guy won a title this season. In the same season, he won the scoring title for this year.
What year was it?
1999, 2000.
Ooh. It could be either of them. Damn. Which one?
Am I hearing your keyboard? I better not be hearing your keyboard, bro.
Nah, bro.
Right, cool. Man. Kobe, yeah?
No. I'm going Shaq.
Shaq. Lock it in?
Yeah, Shaq.
All right, I'm gonna do you a favor here. I'm gonna give you a chance to change it if you want.
Nah, I'm staying Shaq.
You're staying Shaq, okay. Okay, so I've got to just tally up your score.
I know you got me beat. This ain't gonna take too long, is it? Like, I did not feel that confident with this. I'm gonna be mad at myself for at least hit on the last decade, though.
Let's go through it. 2018, 2019, you said James Harden, and the answer was, of course, James Harden. 2017, 2018, you said James Harden. The answer was James Harden. 2016, 2017, you said Russell Westbrook, and the answer was Russell Westbrook. 2015, 16, you said Stephen Curry, and the answer was Stephen Curry. 2014, 15, you said Westbrook. That was right as well. 2013, 14, you said Kevin Durant. That was right. 2012, 13, I was impressed by this one. You said Carmelo Anthony, and that was also right.
Yeah.
2011, 2012 through to 2009, 2010, you said Kevin Durant for all of them, right?
Oh, damn. Did I?
Yeah. I think. Fuck. I think you said that, right?
I feel like I said one in between. Anyway, just go with that. Why not?
Well, I've given you it, so and you got all three right.
Yeah. Calm.
All right. 2008, 2009, you said... So you got everything right up until this moment. So up until 2009, 2010, you got everything, yeah?
Then
2008, 2009, you said LeBron James. It was, in fact, Dwayne Wade.
I could not tell you that he won a scoring title. I had no idea.
2007, 2008, you said Dirk Nowitzki.
That was, I'm not going to lie, that I'm an MVP because I know he won an MVP, I mean. But he definitely wasn't.
It was LeBron James, unfortunately.
Yeah.
2006,
I was trying to fit someone in because I didn't know D Wade won one.
2006, 2007, I'm pretty sure you said LeBron James. It was Kobe Bryant. Yeah, 2005, 2006, you said Kobe Bryant. It was Kobe Bryant. 2004, 2005, I gave you the hint of headband, I think. And you said Allen Iverson, and it was, in fact, Allen Iverson. 2003, 2004.
I was not confident about that one, to be fair.
What, headband?
Yeah. Because there were quite a few people rocking that.
2003, 2004, you said Tracy McGrady, and it was Tracy McGrady because I gave you the easiest clue of all time.
Then you gave me the hardest one of all time, so it balances out.
What did I say for 2002, 2003 for the clue? Oh, the only scoring title for this team. I forgot you said. But you got it wrong.
No, I think I missed it.
You said Kevin Garnett. That was I don't know why you said Kevin Garnett.
That was a terrible. I don't know. No, basically, I started saying MVPs with Dirk and Kevin Garnett. I don't know why I said I just couldn't be. I should have just.
It was
passed.
He won it back to back. 2001, 2002. I think you passed on this one. 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
I forgot my clue, but it was Allen Iverson, so you got that wrong. 2000, 2001, I gave you the clue that he's a full-time scoring title champion. You said Allen Iverson, you got that right. And the last one, I gave you the clue that this guy won the title in this year. You were tossing it up between Kobe Bryant or Shaq. You went with Shaq, and you got it right. So that brings you to a grand total of 15. 15.
I think I did pretty well because
honestly, I would have maybe got 4. So you have done it.
Yeah, because finals MVP is just like if you're looking back at years you didn't watch, you're like, okay, who won that year?
Yeah,
and then you kind of can guess from that. But like, damn, I'm happy with that.
You've done well there. So that brings your score to 15. I last week got 15.5, so I'm narrowly in the lead. But that honestly, I've got to clap that up. That is a great effort. I'm proud. You got like 10 in a row, bro.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the end of today's show. It's been an up and down rollercoaster show with a lot of technical difficulties. Me saying some mad stuff about TJ Warren, but overall I enjoyed it thoroughly. How did you find it?
If you made it here, it was a great episode. Like, despite some of the troubles we went through. If you made it here, you're a real one. If you made it to this point, you're a real one.
We appreciate each and every listen. Thank thank you very much if you did listen. And we'll be back sometime next week with a new episode. This episode should be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to go make my dinner because I'm starving. But peace out.
That's up.